How are we missing one over at team 2? What is happening? We got ourselves Dust, we got ourselves Forsaken, we got ourselves Pieces and Shadowhunt. We had everybody together for a 5-man. What happened? Forsaken gonna be first up versus Buff Arms Boy. God, that's a good mount, dude. I need to go and I'm still leveling up a character. For some reason, Blizzard thought my panda apparently did too many frog farms, and then basically, quote unquote, nerfed my frog, but they actually gave me more stats than I had. I did frogs for 30 minutes at most. I had it for like footage in the video. For some reason, I was marked in the farmer list. It's so wild. But it looks so good. I gotta get some of those mounts, man. I'm leveling a mage just to get more mounts. But Forsaken trying to see if he can get himself any kind of survivability versus Buff Arms. Absolutely getting ripped apart in the opener. Got him some defenses. Waiting out for the death back. Needs to keep the pets as well as the slow one to Buff Arms. As he's trying to avoid the pets. And actually, look at the pets. Look at the undeads. If you can keep them out the open with the mages, that cast that they're doing is actually quite a bit of damage. He's executing those things down. Trying to keep them down as best as possible. Got him some reflect for a second. AMS up for Forsaken. But there's only so much magical damage that a warrior can do. Both are super low. Stunned and Forsaken. The Execute's just chopping them up. It looks so good. If anything Shadowlands gave us is an absolutely glorious animation for Warriors Execute. You gotta love it, man. Oh wait, we do have 5. There we go. Was it high power we were waiting on? I think it was. Was it? We had Dust. We had Pieces. Oh yeah, it was high power. From one death to the next though. My goodness. At least warriors are not squishy in comparison. Remember when they nerfed the armor of warriors for season 3? And then season 4 came out, and I feel like armor is fairly equalized. Everybody got more stats. Everybody's as tanky as they can be right now. And Buff Arms, he's living the life right now. It's going to be a leap with a blaze storm, trying to make sure he doesn't get hit with CC. As high power looking to get himself the swarm out and about, the undeads swarming around Buff Arms, trying to see if he can stay on the move, trying to avoid the DK. If he's going to take damage from the army of the undead, that's just a thing that's going to happen. He can survive it. He just can't be getting hit by the Death Knight clawing him down from one side and the army on the other, just trying to avoid at least one of these sources of pain, sources of damage. Into a stun. That's got him some big blades, high power with yet another army. Parry up and available for Buff Arms, just trying to see if he can survive this big executes at a high power. Does get hit with a stun into a trinket, stun right back at high, into one execute, second, looking for a third, looking for a fourth. Deathback is going to help deny some of that execute power, but high power is still super behind. Got himself a little bit of that clawing shadows with Chain of Vice, looking to get whatever heal he can, but at this point there's just not much he can do. One last execute, I believe it was execute number 5 out of Buff Arms, taking him out with, who's it going to be? Shad as a marksman? Okay. Trap down immediately. Shadowhunt, I think he might have been able to avoid the Warbreaker, by Buff is going to be a freezing trap right after into more aim shots, as Buff does not send that CC long at all, though he does end up leaping away right out of the line inside of that aim shot last second. Shad got himself full cooldowns, but at this point Buff Arms, his main, I guess, is it his main? The tufts of hair at the top of his like head, back, hump. Is that a hump? I guess it's a hump. Just gotta poke it from behind the platform. Shad with the immediate turtle, just trying to see if he can get himself any kind of survivability out of this whatsoever. Stun to follow. Both arms avoiding the freezing trap completely. This is gonna walk into with a blaze storm. Shad, I think it's just over. Just getting chopped up. Marksman Hunter does not have the survivability for this unless you get yourself a proper setup. And if you're just gonna be fighting the guy out in the open, it is gonna go down very quickly. Does still claw. Switching up Mogs though, I like it. Wait, what do you fist weapons? Or weapons at all? You had weapons for a second. Like out of all the pieces, I've never been a big fan of the hoodie. Oh wait, you do actually have invisible weapons, or like hidden weapons. Technically it's a weapon, just a hidden one. You would get it back at the remind me if I'm wrong here, the Pandaria like sanctuary that you can go back to as a monk. Pretty sure that was like the first evidence of like a hidden item that they added in the game for Mogs. Is going to be Buff Arms getting blasted, or doing the blasting rather, as Dust Claw looking to go counter offensive here. Is going to need the Fist of Fury. Parry for parry right now, as Buff Arms is doing plenty fine. Dust Claw may be in trouble, will need mobility to escape this. That is back-to-back executes though. Second Fist of Fury, giving him a little bit of survivability into a port. Trying to see if he can avoid buffs as much as possible. No health, no bleeds. Just the raw power of the bleeds taking you down. Oh my goodness. I feel like I feel like I distracted the monk by talking about this whole technical hidden weapons thing. Oh my god. I didn't think buff arms were just gonna walk in and just start chopping boys up. He's got a little bit of gear. He doesn't even have the legendary, man. He's not even in his prime. He hasn't even gotten his Lego ring combo yet or anything like that. And there's those that are available right now. PvE rings with a PvE Lego. It is wild. As Pieces trying to see if he can tear buff arms into pieces himself. He got himself Avatar, got himself Hammer hanging over the man's head. Or not? Is it me or does the hammer just disappear? I feel like, does it still do damage or does it like not do any damage at all? I don't really know. Trinket out above, just trying to see if he can survive that rallying cry. Just looking to play a bit of defensive while full immunity up for Pieces. Quick stun. I don't know if he can maybe reflect something. He reflected something. It looked like for a second he reflected a Hodge, but that was just a normal shockwave. Fear onto Pieces. Man, it might just be going down big. Oh. Okay. Okay. This is the best part whenever I got a fuller commentary. Fake hammer. Yeah, what happened to the hammer? I feel like it hangs over the man's head, right? And then it like keeps lowering down, disappears. And I keep expecting like a hammer to slam right afterwards, but then nothing happens. Got ourselves Sensei off the bat. Are we still missing a fifth? On team one, he might be. Sensei is gonna have to play for two here, as is gonna be Pieces of the bat. Hammer hanging over Sensei's head. Does he use a karma? Does he blow any cooldowns? Trying to see if he can delay any CDs at all. Warlock Hellstone does get used in order to give himself a little bit more breathing room, as Pieces with a full bubble does not want to give Sensei an out whatsoever. Actually quite a bit of damage. He's ramping together with a Crusade. He's trying to see if he can set up a karma. Worst time, does he just fight through a karma? Does he want to? Blind? It looks like he doesn't really want to. Trinket out of Sensei. Pieces might be in a lot of trouble. Trying to turn it around. That's going to be big reversal back onto the Paladin with Void Queen charging at him as fast as possible. No more Trinket for the Monk for a bit. So maybe it's an opportunity for a Shadow Priest to take a win here. But it's a very, very, very skewed matchup. Normally monks win this kind of matchups. We have seen Shadow Priest turn it around out of nowhere. But it's a lot more difficult than you think. It's just consistent damage over Shadow Priest. Can maybe lock down Sensei. He's trying to see if he can break the tether. Just use some mobility to break out of there. The pet attacking, doing a bit of damage, doing him in. That's going to be I was thinking it was going to be a Siphon. No, it's just a normal tentacle. If that was a Siphon, that would have been awesome. The poor back-to-back for Sensei just to avoid group for a bit, going for as much healing as possible. That is really well set up. But the fact that two pillars are close enough where you can just board behind both, that is super, super nice. In cap onto Void Queen. Still looking for a bit of a defensive. Trying to play around the mind games as best as possible. Whenever you get slapped by that, you want to limit the amount of damage you do to an enemy, because otherwise I'm just going to heal him. Or the amount of healing you do to yourself during that time, because you're just going to do damage to yourself. Since he's taking a bit of damage, got himself a bit of go versus Void Queen. Cooldowns are available for the Shadow Priest. Trying to see if he can go for a bit of a fade. Looking to not get locked in. That's going to be, quick jab towards the tail end of that cast. And just got himself a quick, I'm pretty sure touch of death there, right? I'm pretty sure it's a touch of death. PRF got himself a proper go. Sensei should have a trick coming back up here in just a little bit. At least Human Racial is in play immediately. Question is, does Sensei still run the knock-up ability though? Because I haven't seen him use it so far in this match. But I want to see if he's running it still either way. But we'll see in a bit. In cap immediately by PRF. Lexiup on the Sensei can break out of it. Oh, he does immediately toss him. He does immediately knock him. He's just going to try to see if he can deal with it. I think he probably took it just for Monk specifically. Just so he can be able to, just so he's able to yeet him out as soon as possible. Because that does work really well. And it doesn't look like you can parry it either. Like when you get Fist of Fury, it doesn't look like a knock-up ability. You can avoid it at all. Massive damage on the PRF. Karma to follow Sensei. Just trying to see if he can plunge right through the Karma. PRF on the full-on defensive. Locked out on his heel. Looking for boards back-to-back. Just trying to see if he can buy himself some survivability here. That's going to be Sensei with a Human Racial? Or did he use it a little earlier? In cap with the PRF. I think it's over, right? Yeah, it's over. He locked him down completely. That was so good. That was nutty between High Power and Dustil Claw. I mean, it's going to be one of the others is going to have to find a way to win versus Sensei. That is a tough matchup, though. Absolutely a tough matchup, though. Is it going to be? Is it high? Yeah, High Power. I feel like he actually had a really close call versus Sensei last match. It was actually so good. I feel like a Monk can... I think a Monk generally wins against a Death Knight just because Death Knights are kind of squished in comparison. But the amount of damage on Holy D it can do if you can keep him away from Pillar, clawing him down, death calling him with a full army, that's a lot. As long as you just gotta find a way to mitigate the karma. And he actually does not have a karma. Trinket immediately for high power, but he's backing up out of there as soon as possible. I think that was immediate route out of Sensei. And he's just trying to see if he can back up out of there completely. For high power, he might want to make a play at some point. Leg sweep is down. Karma is down for 15 seconds. He could potentially just send everything at Sensei and try to see if he can just overpower him. Trying to control the fight early on, AMS up really early into a blind right after. Got Sensei out in the open without any kind of pillars. Grippy hand to follow if he's trying to see if he can back up out of there. He's trying to see if he can bounce. And if you position yourself correctly, you could potentially grip him out in the open. He does end up making an escape, trying to avoid the DK as well as the pets as much as possible. In cap to follow, does not have a leg sweep for a bit, with the Ring of Peace playing full defensive right now. So for high power, a lot of the damage, was it just Apocalypse? Or was it just normal army? I think that might have been just army. That was the Apocalypse. With double mages, Karma to follow, just needs survivability, needs to find a way to live this. Ledgeborn is available, Stunner to Sensei, trying to see if he can just fight through the Karma, got himself death back really early on with whatever defenses he has, got himself magic defenses, but can't really deal with a physical damage all that easily, and Sensei just keeps on pounding. Fists of Fury back to back in there. With Dusty Claw trying to see if he can get himself some kind of a play versus Sensei, got himself Blender? What is it called? Cheat Torpedo? I haven't seen people use Cheat Torpedo in a while, man. I feel like everybody uses Roll nowadays. Maybe Cheat Torpedo is actually good. I feel like Cheat Torpedo was insane when it actually did damage. And monks would have to do this Cheat Torpedo jump thing when they didn't move anywhere. Oh, massive kick on the dust. You cannot really do much. That himself was a win. And that was Serenity. Trying to see if he can take a page out of Sensei's book. They're using that knockback ability themselves, but getting kind of low in health. Maybe look at our karma right now. There goes the karma. As they even popped an extra defensive layer with the, what is it, reverse harm? Trying to remember which one is monks, which one is the demon hunter ability. Dusta, at this point, without any cooldowns, all they got in mobility, trying to find an escape, trying to find some survivability. Fist of Fury, trying to see if he can lock down Sensei, massive kick, but does end up taking him. I think with the strike of the Windlord at the very end. My God, there's actually no way to beat that, huh? Sensei's actually OP. Okay, let's see if we can get ourselves another one going, boys, yeah?